Welcome to Destination Joy, Flourishing After Cancer. I'm Dr. V, your host, and I'm so excited that you joined us tonight for this show. I'm excited about our guest. Um, we this show is not about cancer. It's about life after cancer, which for me was the hardest part. When you're going through treatment, and people telling you where to go, what to do, what to eat. But when you finish, when you ring that bell, even though I can't recall ringing the bell, then you got to start living. And so that's what this show is more about the life after cancer, the emotional healing. When everybody thinks, you should be grateful that you survived, but who are you? Who are you now? I remember I lost my job, which was my identity. Um, I was always afraid that the cancer was going to come back. So you're living from appointment to appointment. So life after survival is the hard part. And so that's what we want to talk about. And so my guest tonight, Dr. Rosalind Smith, she's going to tell us about how she used her cancer experience to find her purpose. The name of our show is From Diagnosis to Destiny, Finding Purpose Beyond Breast Cancer. So I'll bring her to the stage. Please, I have gotten much better with this StreamYard. I know how to add comments. So please feel free to ask questions, and I will bring them to the stage, and we can try to answer them for you. So, all right, let me introduce you to my guest, Dr. Rosalind Smith.
Hello,
Hi,
hello, hello.
excited to have you.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be here. I'm so excited to be here to see women, who have been through all the trauma and drama of breast cancer. And look at us now. We're still moving in purpose. So thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Exactly. So tell us a little bit more about yourself. What are you doing nowadays?
Well, right now I am building my coaching business for breast cancer, and I am getting ready to open up a group for women to come in and to speak with me and others who have been through breast cancer. And I've just been getting some training towards that, and just really writing out my ideas, writing out, what is it that I really want women to get from me, because we all have our own journey. I was listening to your journey the other day, and I was so moved because I see you now, and you don't look like what you have
Been
been through.
exactly.
And so I want women to understand, whatever phase you're in, that there's still hope. And that's what I'm building right now.
Okay, wonderful. So I know I like to start at the beginning. So can you tell us about the day you were diagnosed? You were told you have cancer?
Well, I always like to say that I had faith, but I was looking for hope. And hope is my anchor. I didn't realize I didn't know a whole lot about hope. In my case, I'm a believer. So I believe that hope is in Jesus Christ. So when I first found out, I really truly found out about May of the previous year. So about May 2020, when
Okay.
I went to the pharmacist, and the pharmacist said, well, you can't pick up your medication. It was an acid reflux medicine. They said because they have found that this medication has carcinogens in it. I was like, oh, I'm glad I didn't pick that up. That may have been even around April. So I go in May to pick it up, and I talk to the one pharmacist who is like always a lot more detailed. He'll take time to talk to you no matter how much work he
Working.
has. And so he told me um, that I couldn't pick up the medication because it's taken off the market forever.
Oh, wow.
And then I knew to be watching. And what I should have been doing more of is praying. I kept looking for cancer to come. And so,
Mm,
family, about, I say around June to July, my breast started itching, my left breast. And it was just itching and itching. And I believe it was both sides, but the left was worse than the right. And so I also have what they call systemic lupus also. And so I went to my lupus doctor and I said, "Hey, I said, I'm itching all over. I don't even know what to do. What should I do?" And she said, "Well, if you keep having issues, come back. You've already had a good um, um, mammogram, right?" I said, "Yes, I just had a mammogram in March of this year." And so she said, "Well, if it keeps happening, we'll go ahead and reschedule you a mammogram, kind of look and see, just make sure everything's okay." So she relaxed me. I was really happy about that. She was the first one to kind of say, "Okay, we're going to do something about it," per se. And I don't even know if I even told all my doctors. I had quite a bit. But I did tell my dermatologist, and she gave me a cream. Unfortunately, the cream worked. It took away the itch. You don't want it to take away your itch.
oh, okay.
And so, because what it was on the outside, I had inflammatory breast cancer, which I later found out once in December. I said, I got to do something about this because now I could feel a knot under my underarm.
Okay. So
And
wait
that
a
was,
minute. It starts on your skin on the outside?
it started on the outside. Inflammatory is only about 1 to 2% of people in the whole nation that gets inflammatory breast cancer. And it is a very rare disease. And so it was on the outside of it, only it's a skin disease more.
Okay.
Okay. And it looks like an orange and it's kind of bubbly or whatever, but my skin really didn't look like a full orange. I mean, it was a little bumpy, just a little bit, but not as much to notice. Because remember, I have cream to kind of keep it down a little bit, and I'm probably just feeding it more and more, not knowing at all. But it wasn't until December that I really think that I had, like kind of really know around December, and that's when I started having action in my lymph nodes under my underarm. Well,
Okay.
that's not good. It's already moved. And that's where I found out I had triple negative breast cancer. I went in January. This was a huge storm here. The weather was kind of bad. January, I went. I really didn't kind of want to go, so I was kind of lost around. Finally got there, and everybody said, "Well, you're going to reschedule. We're going to have to do another day." I think I wasn't ready to face it.
Okay.
And so I could not see anybody to March because it was snowing. COVID was starting to kind of come alive. I think I had just had COVID, I believe, in December
Okay.
before it was announced. And around March, when I went to the actual doctor that I normally go to for my uh, regular breast exam, like the year before, I didn't go to her. I went to another hospital, but I went back to her, and she said, "I need you to come back tomorrow." And I'm like, "What does that mean? Come back tomorrow? I don't know if I like that."
So she saw you and then said, "Come back tomorrow."
hmm
Mm,
And it was interesting. Now I knew, but I didn't know, right? Like you have an instinct, ladies. You really do. I knew, but I didn't know. I even talked to the assistant in the room, And I told her, I said, oh, it could be my lupus, or, you know, it could be, I don't know, just, I did go to the dermatologist. I was in denial. I called her back. She was so worried about me. She called me back that night. And she had, really, now that I know more about the office, she wouldn't be the person to call me, but she was concerned.
Okay.
And so I went the next day, I believe, or whatever. But anyway, by the 16th of March, I'm finding out I have breast cancer. And I'm like in shock. I'm numb. I'm disbelief. And I can't even think. Like, I mean, like it's like a fog that takes over your brain.
Right.
And
That,
from there,
so you were worried from June, from April, May, June. You were worried, and then you didn't find out
well,
until
April, I wasn't really worried. I was thankful in April because I thought it meant that the medication that they took off the market was taken all off. I thought it was just a batch. I didn't understand it was in the total brand. You understand?
Yeah, got you.
That I guess, and they probably knew because a lot of medications that have carcinogens in it. Our foods have carcinogens in it,
Right.
but some people like myself, I have a what they call a BRCA2 um, a mutation, which I didn't quite know then.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you didn't know before then, but you got genetic testing or something?
Yes, I got genetic testing later on. I guess I started treatment. I met with my doctor and everything in April, and I got treatment April the 12th, that Monday. I graduated with my doctorate, and I went straight in to, and I say graduated, I finished, my
Dissertation?
dissertation. We have a big project we do. I went to,
Capstone project.
yes, we had a capstone kind of type thing. And so I went to Regent University in a doctorate of strategic leadership. And my chair said, "You are finished." I said, "What? What?" That was a shock. I said, "I don't feel like I'm finished." And I said, I'm not, I don't feel like I even really know what I'm talking about yet. hence is always my story. I should have already been started with this breast cancer coaching. And she said, "This is your life's work, hon. You're going to always be working towards the next thing, understanding more of what God reveals to you." So I finished on Sunday. Monday, I'm in chemo.
Wow.
And I decided I wanted to know, how am I going to show up? Because I was already studying coaching, right? My doctor was in strategic leadership with an emphasis in um, leadership coaching and human resources and strategic foresight. So I'm trying to have some foresight. How am I going to show up as the breast cancer person? How am I going to show up? Am I going to bring hope? I am a Christian, because I don't want them bringing me a whole bunch of negativity. How am I going to show up in this? And so what I decided to do was actually go and be myself and figure out what I was going to do with this new pain and trauma and drama I was going through.
Okay.
And that's what I did. I went in, I was bubbly. That's who I am. I also was very descriptive of the shock, but I'm laughing because I'm seeing all these healthcare workers for the first time, and they are so helpful. They're so giving. They are so understanding. They are just wonderful.
Yeah.
Like I just fell in love with all of them. And I literally fell in love with healthcare at that point. Really fell in love with healthcare. And so later I decided, you know, I'm just going to double check my doctor. She said, "Well, you just don't have what did she say? I think she said faith or trust in people." I said, "No, I like, I'm a numbers person, really. I like to double check." So, I like to double, triple, and she doesn't know. I mean, that's how I have to do most of my papers that I've had to do because I'm dyslexic. So dyslexic, which counting, triple counting, double counting. Think of Albert Einstein. Can you imagine him trying to work with everyday people? He's probably counting everything, and people are like, who cares? What's wrong with him? And so I do have a lot of those tendencies. I'm not as brilliant as he is, but I went and talked to other doctors. I went to two other local hospitals. I started, Baptist was my main hospital.
You wanted more opinions, or why were you going to different
More
doctors?
opinions. So I was trying to figure out, did did I really like my doctor? Because she kind of rubbed me the wrong way at first. She's a little spicy. She's an Indian woman, and she's gonna tell you what she feels. And so, and she was actually the perfect person to be the lead of my breast cancer journey as far as the medical side. But I
Okay.
went to Baptist, which is, I chose Baptist. I think it has a lot of, I grew up Baptist as a little kid, and I wasn't, Baptist per se now, but I think I was thinking, well, I'll start there. And then I went to Norton's. I love Norton's. I went to U of L, and I fell in love with all the doctors. I was like, well, what am I going to do? So I stayed with the one that I was with, and she seemed like she could handle all my thoughts, because I'm the intellect when I do things. And so I probably over worry, I overthink,
So that
just
gave you peace of mind. So did the other places, did they give you the same like treatment plan? Were they all on the same page?
yes. Now the one at the University of Louisville, she said she may have reversed the model. She would have done. I did andromycin first, which is what they call the red D. I don't like to say what they call it, but basically, when the nurses come in to give it to you, they have to dress up in all this garb to even give it to you,
Wow.
face mask and everything. I'm like, well, gosh, I mean, do I want that in me?
Right, exactly.
So she said she wouldn't have given me that one first. She would have given me, it starts with a C, but anyway, I can't think of it right now. But anyway, she would have started with the one that started with a C first, and that's typically what you use for triple negative, are those two. So most people I had talked to, I even went all the way to MD Anderson. I went to all the way up to New York, Memorial Sloan, and I went down to Cancer Treatment Centers of America.
So were you just not, were you in denial of what you had, or you just
I'm a person. I think I was making an
got to do all
intervention.
the research?
Right. I'm a person of adventure. Anything I do, when even when I was working on my doctorate, if I had the book for class, if I had to have one article, I had 10,
Okay.
if it was one book assigned to the class, I got 20 more. So I'm a person that always overly looks for the next answer, see if I can unlock something. I like to see what's out there. Are they all going to say the same thing? You know, um,
So how
and
did you decide that the doctor that you chose was the one? What was it that they did that said, okay, let me
I,
go
I
for it?
think when I first met with her, because I've been really actually thinking about that a lot lately. I think when I first met with her, I think she was so spicy. She had a lot of flair. I felt like she could communicate to my husband. I felt like she had a good team. Like when she would come in, I just felt just this warmth, but also, like don't get too close. Like you're gonna have to do this on your own, but I'm here for you. Kind of like all the things I needed. Like I want somebody to be there, but I don't want you necessarily too close. So it's
Right.
kind of like our personality. I didn't realize that's what it was, right? But I think once I committed to her from the very first time I got there, I was committed. But I also was just curious to make sure, since I had two cancers, who's the expert in inflammatory? So I was really looking for that. And then I said, well, while I do that, who is the expert in triple negative? And so I end up in MD Anderson because I wanted to meet with the inflammatory guru. Well, I couldn't meet with him because my doctor allowed me to go up to New York first to the triple negative specialist up there in New York, Memorial Sloan. And she said, I think that's too much traveling. You need to get back here. I don't want you missing, you know,
I
you
was
need to
gonna
get back
say,
here
had the
and,
treatment
and do.
started?
Yeah, I was just starting. I think I went to see Memorial Sloan. I think it was around August. And I was trying to get in with MD Anderson before that, but she just felt like, going 1 week to MD Anderson and then the following week up in New York. And she probably was right. But then I ended up missing out meeting with that guru, and I ended up getting in someone who was a little bit more specialized in triple negative. But my radiation doctor specialized in the inflammatory.
Okay.
So I think that's pretty much why I went to the different ones, because I wanted to make sure that we had both cancers under care per
Yeah.
se. And I started out
That makes
stage
a lot of
3.
sense.
Yes, I started out stage 3 when by the time I got in, and by let's see, we started in April and it was seems to be taken pretty well, but by I think it was June, about June, I tell you what, I was stage 4.
So it is spread somewhere, it spread further.
And I'm as I'm going back over all like the supplements I took, the different things that I took, I sugar feeds a lot of things. So I had, changed my whole diet and everything. But I did take a hydration, what they call hydration drops, and they were working really well. But then I ran out of them and I started trying another brand, and that brand had more alcohol content.
Okay.
Well, you're not supposed to have alcohol with breast cancer, or especially during treatment, because it can really, the sugar content in alcohol can really increase and make you, your activate and feed your cancer.
Okay.
And I think maybe that, I was really concerned about being, dehydrated, and, because you're not interested, or at least I wasn't interested in eating as much.
So
Or
did you have all the other side effects? You lost your hair, your eyebrows, eyelashes,
yes,
all
I
of that.
lost my hair. My eyebrows were like thin. My eyebrows are thin anyway. As soon as I said that, it looked like one wanted to fall down. Just uh,
Talking about me.
right. I have little my eyebrows anyway. My hair was totally bald. Now it's back down to here, but it's thin. It's kind of like when it's almost like you get back what you had as a kid. And so
Okay.
my hair as a kid was kind of thin. So I kind of missed, like I used to say I had my mother's hair and my dad's hair on one head of hair, and now I only have more of my mom's side, and so it's a little thin and not too good. Oh, now I mean, I tell you, it really wants to get in my eye. But yes, so I lost. I lost my hair, my eyebrows, my fingers, like are neuropathy. Both my hands are affected. I have lymphedema, so I have one hand, and you can see the difference. You see, an
Right.
arm. I don't have my uh, garment on this evening.
So did you have like surgery? Did you have a mastectomy or anything like
Yes, I had a mastectomy. So let's see. I went to see all the hospitals by October, I think. And then by December, when I went to see MD Anderson, they were willing to take off my left breast. My surgeon at Baptist, who my oncologist recommended, she was not willing. She felt like you already have stage 4. She believes in women keeping as much as their beauty and their womanhood as much as possible and intact. And I mean, she even did a great job on putting my port in. Um, she was just really mindful of, do you really want to do that? And I understood everything she was saying. But when I talked to my doctor in Memorial Sloan, she said, get that breast off. Why is it still on?
Well, and that was is my question. I mean, I didn't have breast cancer, but I want that cancer out. I just want it
Yes.
off. I don't, So I think a lot
Yes.
of women want to just this take them, let's get it off of me. But
Yes. Well,
what are your
and
thoughts?
yeah, well, my thoughts were the same because my mother, I'm living this even through my mother's eyes, right? My mother had breast cancer and passed away.
Okay,
And that's part of the reason why I want to do and give back to women so much with the breast cancer coaching, and they're just going with them and navigating them through that journey, letting them know that they can continue to go through breast cancer with the mind of victory. I call myself the breast cancer victory coach because I want them to have victory in their mind. Whether you live or die, you always think victorious.
right.
And what am I still leaving behind? What is my legacy going to be? Am I finished with that? And what things can I do still as I'm going through this journey that says this is who I really am, and I want the world to know. Which
Yeah,
means I've had to kind of go through all those phases, and it has been painful because now you're becoming who you really are instead of what everybody else might want you to be.
right.
Now you're becoming who you are instead of holding back some of your gifting, some of your calling. But now you're telling yourself to push forward, make yourself um, more pertinent as far as getting out the work that you are called to do versus helping someone else to get their work done and
Right.
not ever getting to yours,
Yeah.
right? And so but anyway, by December, MD Anderson, the surgeon there, he was an inflammatory uh, surgeon. He was willing to do it, and the plastic surgeon there was willing, to put me, the little areas back together. And we weren't going to put anything inside because we were thinking we want to get to the other side of my chest, my
Hmm.
right side breast, because we want both of them gone. We've both decided, or everybody's decided, that if I'm going to do it, might as well do both. But
And what I was going
because
to ask you, do people just get one taken off, or do you just do them both?
well, typically, some people, depending on your health, they do both. You have to remember, I have cancer. I have two different types of cancer. I have lupus.
So you got
Okay.
those
I have
issues.
some other health issues that, hadn't really given me quite as much of a problem because I had been diagnosed with diabetes years ago and pretty much had that under control. Didn't really have a lot of problems per se, besides the neuropathy.
Hmm.
But I realized that lupus was really the feeder to all of this. Lupus is like an open door to, hey, I'm a flare up, and hey, come on, diabetes, because I found out I had lupus and then I got diabetes, then it was thyroid disease, and it was like all my different areas. And so I would fight on that. And those areas I didn't fight as hard as I did like I did with the cancer. I decided to change, like super change my diet. With diabetes, I changed quite a bit, but this time I was using supplements. I was listening to different gurus. I was traveling. I said, you know, I'm a doctor now. I'm going to research it all, because my dreams of becoming a professor, right? They were dwindling away. You're telling me I have stage 4. Well, what does that mean? Am I going to ever be a coach now? Am I going to be a professor? Am I going to be able to work at a university?
So
I,
that's my second question. So people often focus on the surgery and treatment, but the emotional journey can be just as challenging. So what was the hardest emotional hurdle you had to overcome?
well, what's interesting, I think the getting my breast off that December of 2021, that didn't bother me as much. I actually woke up from the surgery and walked afterwards. I even went walking because I didn't want anything get in my lungs, from they say it's after surgery you can have issues with your lungs or whatever. So that didn't bother me as much as what bothered me. What's interesting that day was more my arm, the lymphedema, my arm swelling up. I have, one arm that I already thought was kind of chubby, but I'm here it's looking like it's skinny mini over here. And then this other arm and hand is swelling up and it's like never changing. Like I'm almost getting a hold of the breast cancer. Like I almost have a system. But the lymphedema, I couldn't figure it out. It was the same thing my mom struggled with. So I had a lot of emotional feelings and trauma behind that. And then later on, you were talking about what changed. My teeth began to change because, I've been going through treatment over the last about 5 years, different things that they were giving me. But one of the things, I get an Xgeva shot and it's supposed to strengthen, like they believe that the cancer it went to my spine. And so they give you an Xgeva shot, which helps with your bone structure and everything. But it also weakens your teeth.
Oh,
So my teeth, my plaque comes off. My teeth are, like little bit mini teeth in the front. And I need to get those capped, you know. But I also want to make sure I don't have too many foreign things. So it's like this battle of, okay, what do I do? Do I go ahead and get some type of teeth, or do I get something plastic? But plastic's not good for you either. I have
that's directly related to the treatment.
mhm, to the treatment, and they say a lot of women who've been through cancer have issues with their teeth. I didn't realize that that's a I don't know if it's also from the radiation because I had the radiation. Okay. I did radiation in 22 is when I did radiation. And yeah, that was about March of 2022. So it could be from the radiation because, I had all my left side done, right? Like mainly from the above my hip all the way up. And I promise you, it seemed like it hit my head too. But I think it was just supposed to be up to my neck.
Okay.
But the way the machine was an open machine, and it also had something that would go behind or something. But that was the most traumatic for me. Also, the radiation. I did not like being zapped with radiation. I just the idea of it, the thought of it, and I had to have 32, I believe, sessions, 32 or
You go
34,
like
something like
every
that,
day, every
every day
every 2 days.
for
Yeah.
several weeks. And I did that at MD Anderson with the inflammatory breast cancer radiation specialist. She
Okay.
actually teaches on inflammatory, she researches inflammatory. So I went to her and I actually knew I need to do a follow up with her. Um, and haven't yet done that yet. I had it scheduled and then rescheduled.
So, so you've had chemo and surgeries. You've had radiation. So, are you cancer free now?
Well, they still consider me stage 4, right? Um, I am, things. What happens with me is like one test, it'll look really good, and then the next test, it won't. and and some of it I contribute to. Truthfully, I think what did I eat? Did I kind of go off my regular schedule? Or did I take there's certain supplements like I take black Spanish radish I take, and when I get off of that, it seems like I end up having a test that is showing that I have more activity. I guess you would say they call it activity. And when I'm on it, it seems like I had someone tell me that the black Spanish radish cancer hates it. Like it's so it kind of gets rid of it, but I guess it's not gone all the way. It holds it back, and it's like, get back, leave her alone, leave her alone.
So you really have that anxiety from test to test because you don't know what's gonna show up.
Yes, well, my last test, I kind of knew that something was going to go wrong. It was in June, and I took the test, here in Louisville, and immediately when I got I was taking a PET scan, so of course you taking again like some type of
Right.
radiation shot, before you take the exam, and you have to sit there for a while, sit there in the dark for, I
I
think it's
remember
about
I
an
did
hour.
that too. You got to be still.
I just don't. So normally when I go, I'm not still. I'm on my phone. I'm using my brain. They don't even want you to, use your phone or your brain, because even that can bring up activity. Normally, I'm kind of not really doing that all the way. I tend to somehow grab my phone or something. But this time, I did everything I was supposed to do. I was totally relaxed. I didn't move my legs or anything. Well, they give me the medicine. Immediately, I feel this pain in my back, like almost like the medicine went through my heart to my back. I said, "Well, what is that?" And then all of a sudden, it traveled, and I could feel it in my brain. I had never felt this before. This is the first time. And I need to retake that test over because that test ended up not doing well. They couldn't see anything. It was like, I think they said that my heart was the only thing that was like, it was huge, and it was like all this, I guess, um, activity like on my heart or whatever. And so they're like, but everything else is like dark or whatever. I'm like, well, what do you mean? And so when I got out of my exam for that day, actually when I came from up under the machine, because the machine is kind of like a oval, it's almost like a tunnel that you're going in, and you stay in there. You got to be real still and everything, which I always do well on that. I'm always real still. I just, I pray while I'm in there. And I actually look at the numbers. I have no idea what the numbers are. They show all these numbers that the machine is reading. So I'm like, are these the same numbers I always have? What do these numbers mean? I really want to know, but I never have the courage to ask. But anyway, as I'm coming out of the machine, and the machine is, electronic, where it takes you out almost like an elevator, but you're laying down. They immediately came to me. Did you eat this morning? Did you exercise? And I thought it was funny that I exercise. Did you exercise? Did you eat? Did you take, what kind of medicine did you take? And I told them, I said, well, I did eat this morning. I normally do, I never eat when I have these tests. I said, but this is the first time that I've eaten, but I have not eaten, I think it was 4 hours before or something like that. I haven't eaten within that time period. And I had thought that morning, Rozz, don't change up what you normally do. But I was so hungry. And then what else did I do? I didn't do any exercise. I don't know where that was, but I had the week before been trying to do more.
Okay.
And when I talked to, I think it was my lymphedema specialist, she said, well, if you hadn't been doing anything, that's a lot of activity. Whether it was
Right.
barely anything, if you said you walked down the steps a couple of times and you really been avoiding those steps because, with the radiation and the particular the chemo, it weakens your muscles.
Right.
So walking up and down the steps, you feel like an old person coming up and down. And, I'm having in my mind, I'm not going to give into it because at first I was kind of giving into it a
Yeah.
lot. And so now I got the mindset, keep going. But, like you get ready to fall over. And I said, don't you fall, don't you fall. Don't you fall. At least hold on to the rail. Still look like Rosalind, Dr. Roz.
So Dr. Ross, so you went through a whole lot.
Yes.
Where did you find strength? When did you realize that I'm stronger than I ever thought I could be?
I found strength everywhere I went. I'm a woman of faith and I'm a believer. And I believe that we should show our light like a lighthouse, that we should always be shining and walking in that. But I also am a realist when it comes to life's issues and problems. Like, if there's something wrong, there is something wrong. And how am I going to walk this out in my flesh, through my soul, with my body being affected, but my spirit is strong?
Right.
And so I decided years ago when I was teaching Sunday school, was actually Bible study. They asked me to teach the little kids, and I said, "Teach the little kids? Y'all want me to teach the like?" I think they were like 6 and 7 year old. I mean, all of this energy, a lot of sass, and one of the things that they gave us was a scripture for the week. Our scripture that we had to learn, which I had them do like a stepping show of the scripture to try to get them on beat to remember all these words. We had
Okay.
to do Ephesians 6 and 18, and basically the scripture just says, you walk on all occasions praying in the spirit. And I'm like, what does that even mean? What does that mean? I mean, the Spirit of God, I know that we have the Holy Spirit, but I mean, what does that mean? I didn't even know what to even, how, and so I've been searching for that scripture since that year. I mean, it's probably been 20 years now.
You're kidding.
No. So it's amazing what God would give you something 20 years ahead of time, that if you hold on to it, you'll be able to hold on to that and carry you through. So I said, this is where I'm going to begin to find out what is hope, because I was looking for hope. Remember, I told you in the beginning, I had faith, but I really didn't have hope for me. So that means really hoping that God's going to do it for me, right? I had faith that God could do it, but was he going to do it for me? Did I have the hope of that? Was I going to be anchored in that, you know, uh, accepting that and believing that? But also, how was I going to go about it? Did I have the words to say? So I began to say, what is this Ephesians 6:18, praying in the spirit, meaning, take everything to God in a different understanding. I have the gifts of tongues and everything. So I use that gift a lot more because I didn't have the words. I didn't even know what to say. I didn't know if to be honest with people, how I felt, just because I'm smiling and laughing and having a good time. Do I say, well, I didn't want people to be afraid. People get afraid of you. They're afraid you're dying.
Right.
You have friends who, all of a sudden they become, go missing, because they like, oh my gosh, she's going to die. and then they start working on their health instead of helping you work through yours. And so you have impact, right? So I
Yeah.
was trying to figure out even what to even do with all that impact and stuff like that as I was going through. And because of I was seeing how other people was reacting, I said, well, I guess I'm not the only one going through this.
Yeah.
People are really hurt by it, scared by it. And so I'm going to have to rely on something stronger than myself to kind of get through this. I had people give me good advice, give me suggestions. I mean, that my sister threw me a nice little party and got to hear all these wonderful things about myself. So cancer was becoming this thing of, wow, this is beautiful because people are telling me stuff I never knew about myself. So I decided to embrace that part of it
Okay.
and
So
realize
that's
through
how you
the,
decided to help other women go
yes.
through.
It was the combination of that. Also, my mother, when she had cancer, I wanted to be able to do more for her. I was not prepared mentally. I was not prepared emotionally. I was not prepared financially, although I did have some resources that I was able to help in some ways during that time period that I was so happy about. Um, I don't even know if I had all the patience because I was in denial, like mad at cancer and angry. Like, why isn't my mother fighting harder enough? She watched her mother die of
Okay.
cancer. Her
Wait, so
sister,
so your grandmother, your mother, and then you also had cancer?
me, I have cousins on my mother's side, her siblings. There's five of them. Her four siblings have at least one child that has had either breast cancer or Hodgkin's lymphoma, and that's all BRCA2 related. Although
Okay.
some people, when they took the BRCA test, it showed negative, but it's obvious
Yeah.
that I mean, we haven't, stress, causes a lot of different things too. That
Yeah.
when we get carcinogens in our body, which we can get them almost from anywhere, sometimes our body, if we're overly stressed, that's why you have to watch your stress levels. If we overly stress and we're not dealing with it, we're not talking through it. We keep it, women, we keep all this stuff private. We only tell so much to our girlfriends or our friends or our family. If you don't have a therapist, if you don't have a coach to walk through what you're going through, then you're stuck with all that in your body and your body's going to eat it.
So you recommend having some type of support system to help
Yes.
you through this journey.
Yes. Before and after. See, before, if you handle your emotions and kind of watch what's in food and stuff like that, the environment, if you start paying attention to the environment, the food, um, your medications that you're taking, your emotions that you're not dealing with,
Yeah.
really analyze, write that down. As a coach, we always talk about reflective writing, making sure writing your reflections, you know you're discovering what's going on in your life, and keep notes on that, and start watching your body and paying attention,
Yeah.
because you can fight this thing before it even gets to cancer. You can fight it during cancer. It just makes it a little harder because now you really trying to figure out if you have faith or
Right.
belief in
I
in the
totally believe
system.
that the mindset makes a big difference.
Oh, it definitely does. It definitely does. I've talked to many women, stage 4, like myself, and honey, they 20 years later, 30 years later, still alive. I've talked to other women who were stage 3 and they didn't make it all the way through. And I believe part of it was sometimes and I have found this even for myself. Sometimes you get tired of having to go to doctors all the time. You get tired of just eating everything the right thing, and everybody's enjoying the big old cake, And
Right.
if you eat a cake, you have to eat, just a little taste or something, whatever you decide to give up during your journey. Um, it's because some people never give up sweets and they do fine. It just depends on their body. I have more against me because of my family history. My
Right.
uncles have had colon cancer. Two of my uncles, so and these are all my mother's siblings. So I
Mm.
don't know what happened to it. Just that group.
Something
That
genetic.
group. Mhm.
Okay, so listen. So the name of my podcast is Destination Joy. So has your definition of joy changed because of cancer?
Wow. I think I'm now at a point I'm having to rediscover my joy. I, I've always been, I believe joy is a gift. And I've always had a lot of joy. But I feel like in the last about 2 years, I have been struggling with some of the angers and disappointment of, my surroundings or life. I think I've gone too deep into emotion, where before I didn't deal with emotion as much as I needed to. And now I'm overly dealing with it. And in that, I'm finding, well, don't you still want to be happy? Don't you want your joy back? Because as a kid, I used to really write, I just want to be happy.
Yeah.
I would even write on a notepad, love is dot dot dot. And I put a heart around it. And I put love is dot dot dot. And then I said, oh, I just want to be happy. I tell my friend, I just want to be happy. I just don't want to be miserable. I was like, I was always looking for happiness. And finally one day I started writing, God is in the heart, dot dot dot. But in between that, I was writing, me and my boyfriend, the boy I liked or whatever, because I had started this maybe probably I wanted to write, but I didn't know what I wanted to write. And people always say, Rosin, you're a writer. I'm not really a writer. I like to just take notes of what's going on.
Okay.
Almost like a historian of my life, I guess you would say, and all the people that have impacted me and what they say.
Yeah.
And so I started writing the boyfriends and stuff and realized, well, gosh, they broke my heart. So that couldn't be what love is. They're teaching me forgiveness. And so all of a sudden, randomly one day I started writing God is dot dot dot. And I believe that's where joy started to come in. I, that I realized that God loved me, but I didn't realize until right it was the I say semester before breast cancer. It was like the fall, I believe it was the fall of 2020. Did I learn? I actually was going through, like, I was helping somebody practice with their coaching, and we were talking. I was actually telling this story about love is and God is, and all of a sudden I realized right through that session that God is. I said, "Oh my God, God was giving me the answer. That love is God." And so going now into my journey with joy, I'm really do what like what is my relationship with God? What is it that I really believe? I worked through a lot of doing the right thing and changing my ways, all the things that you have to break off as you become a stronger believer.
Right.
But what was revealed, I had a lot of issues in me that were unresolved and I was angry about them.
Yeah.
It was shocking that I was angry. Like I had real anger. I was like, I'm really upset about these things. And so I'm on my pathway back to joy, truthfully.
Okay.
I'm bubbly, but I don't think I'm at joy quite yet.
Okay.
I've had it. I know what it feels like. So I don't know what the new joy is going to feel like.
It's got to be better. It's got to be
Right.
better.
It's got to be 10 times more, or a hundredfold. So I am moving towards that. But in the meantime, it's almost like when you move out of the house, after you move out, you have all this dust and dirt you didn't see, right? You have all these, spider webs and crevices that you're like, oh, there's that lost such and such. And then you cry because you're like, I thought it was gone. And, you have this memory. And
Yeah.
that's why I feel like I'm at that stage where, like I've moved a lot of things out of the house. I'm not even sure if all of it's gone. I haven't looked in the basement, but the top floor is cleaned out for the most part. And I'm finding all these, crevices and areas that need to be dealt with. And I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do I deal with all these different areas? Because I want my joy back.
Right.
So I guess you're part of that joy for me.
Well, good. That's good. That's my purpose. So, because we're almost out of time, so the signature question for my podcast is so there's this doctor, Dr. Martin Seligman. He's the founder of positive psychology.
Yeah.
And he defines flourishing is when you find fulfillment in your lives, accomplishing meaningful and worthwhile tasks, and connecting with others at a deeper level. In essence, living the good life.
Hmm.
So, do you feel like you're flourishing?
Definitely. And I'm actually taking a course on, and I believe he's one of the gurus that they actually have come in and kind of give some of the coursework. But anyway, that I've signed up for the course. Just now, got to really focus in on it. But um, I believe that I'm flourishing more now because I see how I impact people's lives. Before, it was more me mm, blending in. There it goes, blending in.
Right.
Now I intentionally know that I have something to give, to offer. I know that time is of the essence. That if I have something to say that I believe that God is leading me to say, I need to say it. I don't need to keep it. If I
Right.
can't say it, I need to pray about it, but I need to have impact on people's lives. And so in that, I am much more conscious of what have I done. I'm a little bit, even maybe too much, because if somebody doesn't give me feedback about it, I'm a little bothered by it because I'm like, am I doing the work that I'm called to do? Because I feel like I'm only touching a few people, right? I don't feel like I'm touching as many people as I feel called to, touch yet. And so I want to have an impact in everybody's life. I want to make a difference. So that's why I study a lot. That's why I really try to, come up with my concepts of, how to best help someone who's going through this journey or any help. I've had people come to me who were losing their hearing. I just out of nowhere lost their hearing, and how to navigate that and keep their job. And they're a single mom. I've had people who had uh, liver cancer and pancreatic cancer. I've had men, so I've helped people. I actually, part of my coaching basis is, how you transition through all this. And that was one of my clients that I had. She passed away, and one of the last things she did was have her husband call me after she passed and said, you had such a big impact on my life. I wouldn't have been able to make it through had it not been to you. And it floored me because I'm thinking, well, she didn't make it. I wasn't ready for that.
Right.
I felt like if we work together, we can keep you alive, But sometimes people have to go. Sometimes people are ready to go,
Yeah.
right?
So
Just
we have
have,
different outcomes, but we still go through the journey. Um,
yes. Mm-hmm.
and I think, they say nothing is wasted. So all that we went through, we can share that strength and hope and experience with others that are going through it.
Mm-hmm.
even if the outcome is not what someone wants, I think they can still gain. Just like you said, she said that you were helpful.
Well, and I'm still learning from that because I kind of, truthfully, I think I got depressed a little bit. I think it put me in a slump because I didn't know if she was saved. Did she believe in Christ? I hadn't got to that point.
Yeah.
We were in a coaching group together, like where we come and just kind of talk about, all the different things we're working on. And she said to me one day, and this is something for everybody to remember when it talks about flourishing, because you are onto something talking about that. But she said to me, when are you going to get started? People need what you have. And I wonder if she had cancer then, because she said this to me about, I think, check it out, March. I think it was March of 2023. And by July or August, she passed away. I only met with her one time. And I wasn't even sure why she was meeting with me. I said, I want she just meeting with me to test me. Does she really have cancer? I mean, this is what going on in my mind. All of like this crazy stuff, as you coming into yourself, you have these weird things of like, do people really want to talk and walk this out through me?
Yeah.
And I met with her. She was so happy. Oh my gosh. In our sessions that we had other places, she was kind of aloof, kind of maybe even standoffish, but she desired to do transitional coaching, helping people through life's transitions.
Okay.
And she said, well, we do kind of some of the same stuff. She wanted to do it with people in the workforce. And I just, so do whatever you feel led to do.
Exactly.
It is I believe we have to do it. Don't
Right.
let fear hold us back, or you feel like lack of knowledge, you don't have enough knowledge. You're going to gain knowledge as you go through.
Exactly.
Especially in today's world with AI. I also do AI coaching, but AI changes all the time. I mean, people are doing all type of stuff now. They're making money with AI. They're doing all tons of automation. They have a whole staff of AI. I use it with some of my coaching. If you have a question about what's going on with your body, ask AI. Go, and then you take it to your doctor, and you can kind of have an education.
Yeah, I had a guest, and he said that so he would type in all his reports
Yes.
and ask, what does this mean? And like the Chat GPT, it kept track of everything and would explain it to him in terms that he would understand. So AI is really beneficial if you know how to use it.
Yes, I've done that. I've put my reports in there, and it's told me it's kind of funny though. It'll come back because I'll say yes. I want you to keep my history. It'll come back and say, well, now Rosalind, since you had the such and such test, this might show you this sign. I'm like, I didn't ask you that. I don't want to talk about that today. So it's like that reminder. I've even had my husband. He said I'll tell him, well, you made me feel this way, and he said, well, that's not true. So he goes in and asks Chat, well, I said this, and he gives the whole conversation and said, yeah, you were really wrong. I love it. So yes, so flourishing is really important. Just the process of flourishing and being able to. What are the key words you said? If you could read
Uh,
that one more time.
Let me see. Flourish is to find fulfillment in our lives,
Fulfillment.
accomplish meaningful and worthwhile tasks,
Yes.
connect with others at a deeper level.
Mm-hmm. It
That's
means so
what
much
it's all about.
more. Mm-hmm. And it means so much more you speaking it, because I know now your history. So it has a different impact than just looking at the material. you know, it's
Exactly.
you know what I mean? I can relate to it now.
That's my goal is, survival is the medical outcome, but
Mm-hmm.
flourishing is the emotional healing that, so that you can live life fully. And so
Yes.
that's the goal that I want. I just want to help people with that. But Roz, you don't realize the impact that you had in my life before I ever even met you. So, we're both
Wow.
in that Coaching with Confidence Academy with Coach
Yes.
P. And
Love her.
when I first came in, I didn't know what my niche would be, who I was called to serve.
Yes.
I knew that my cancer journey was something that I wanted to use. And she said, "Oh, we have a breast cancer victory coach." And it was like God said to me, "Yes, we need you."
Yes, yes. Well, I'm glad you talked about Coach P, because Coach P has literally kept me afloat. She has really helped me with what I can now call, when I'm working with my clients, is self leadership, and really trying to lead myself, keep going and have my strategy in order. Okay, you're not there yet, pick up your suitcase again, and keep going in your journey. You say destination, right? I call it an adventure, right? Everybody has a different name for it, but Coach P was always, have confidence no matter where you are in your journey, you know
And what
because you know more than anybody else knows right
right,
now. Somebody's not been through the journey. So you pick up what you have, and keep moving. You have impact, and touch people's lives. So she literally, I mean, if I could tell you the stories from, I mean, introducing me to even supplements, and coaching me through, and not getting overly emotional about it, but I could tell very concerned about me. Um, she's just been one of the best coaches I've had. She's family.
God said. But what's funny is, like, I don't remember how I really was introduced to her. Because I was thinking I got my doctorate in counseling, and
Yeah.
I was thinking I wanted to teach or something. And anyway, I saw this commercial on Facebook where this lady said, with therapists and whatever, you would be a great coach. So I was like, you know what? I wonder what this coaching thing is about. So,
Yes.
when you click on one, you start getting all these reels about the same thing.
Yes.
Somewhere,
Hmm.
I guess I came across Coach P. But when and she called me, so I signed up for the master class or something, and then she called me, and I was like, "Is this a real person?" And she's like,
Hmm.
"Yes, I was just calling to check and see if you did it." And that was it for me. I totally trusted her, and I'm totally changed. She has helped me so much.
Yes.
I have confidence, and I want to go
Hmm.
out and I feel I have the skills to serve those that I'm called to serve. So
Yes. Yes. Well, do we have enough time for me to tell you my story with Coach P?
yeah, a couple more seconds.
Okay. Well, when I met Coach P in another group, like a group of coaches that we're meeting together, she didn't even see me, but I saw her. And so, in this group, you could come up on stage and ask questions or whatever. And so, everybody's kind of like helping each other, and uh, come up with suggestions. And so she's up there, and she's got this big notebook. I mean, of all her ideas. And she's already got this planner that's getting ready to come out. She got all these like things before she's even like officially started. And I just looked at her, and I could tell she was trying to figure out, well, where do I put all these pieces? Because I've done a lot of the research. How am I going to put this together? And so I was so almost mesmerized by the work she had put in. So that's probably part of where I get some of my work ethic too. But all the work she had put in, and the care and the sincerity that she wanted to give women who were going into coaching, into business.
Yeah.
And she was giving, them a manual that, this thick manual. I don't think she's had it out this past year or so, but it had everything from the kitchen sink to, I don't know, everything. But just seeing her work through, I said, I'm going to follow her. She's got the answer. And not too far after that, she opened up her coaching. I called her up. I said, I don't know what to do. She said, God will tell you what to do. She said that. Next thing now, I'm like, send me the link.
And see,
I
look
want to
at us
join.
now. Look at us now.
Yes, look at us now.
Well, Doc Rozz, thank you so much for being on tonight.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
your story is amazing.
Thank you.
The fact that you're using it to help other people, I think, like she says, who are you called to serve? And you used your experience to help others, and so that's amazing.
Well,
Now
thank
looking
you.
forward to, you said that you got to get back into your YouTube and your posting and everything. So I want to see
Yes.
more of you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. If people want to reach out to me or anything on Facebook, I am Rosalind So Thirsty for the King. All one word. So thirsty for the King. They can DM me. My page is open. I have some reels on there. If they just want to watch reels of kind of some of the things that I've been through, they can watch them there. But I also can be reached at LinkedIn as Dr. Rosalind Smith. I'm here in Louisville, Kentucky. And so I'm the breast cancer victory coach.
Okay.
Again, that's the breast cancer victory coach. I think it should be on the screen. I don't know if it all fit in, but it's under Dr. Rosalind Smith. So those two places they can find me. I will be starting in a group. If you want to be in the group, I'm going to start that on the school app, and just let me know, and I will send me your email and your phone number, and I'll send you a text or email. I'll send you a link actually eventually for you to sign up, and we're going to get started. So I plan on doing that within the next, hopefully, 30 to 60 days. I
So
think the deadline I gave Coach P was September.
Rosalind Smith on LinkedIn, Dr. Rosalind Smith.
Dr. Rosalind Smith.
Okay.
And can I put it in on here?
I was trying to, but I typed too slow. Is
Let's
it
see
just
if I
CR,
can.
Dr. Rozz?
It's let me make sure. I just want to make sure. I'm so excited today that okay, here it is. It is, let me copy the link. It is www.linkedin.com /in backslash Dr. Rosalind Smith, all one word. And I'm
Okay.
going to send it to, I put it in the chat. Is that what I do?
Yeah. Can you put it in the chat and then I can put it
Hmm.
on the thing?
And then my Facebook, I'll give you that. Let's see. And people can DM me on each of those platforms.
I don't see it.
You don't see it in the studio? Oh, it's in private chat. Let me, where do I go
Oh,
to
okay.
comments?
Yeah.
I joined the chat. Okay.
Okay. I do see it now in private chat. I'll post it into the other one. getting better at learning this stuff, but some of it's
I
still
tell
difficult.
you, I think
Okay,
I think this.
let me. I'm gonna add it right here. Okay. So there we have Dr. Rosalind Smith, breast cancer victory coach. There's
Mm-hmm.
your LinkedIn
Yes.
and there's your Facebook.
Yes. And then I'm going to put. I wonder if it's saying it wouldn't post for me on this end. And then here I'm gonna send this to you. Let's see.
You put it in comments?
Mm-hmm. Did you get it?
No, I think you put it in private chat again.
Oh
So you have two different LinkedIn's? No, okay. We just put it
no,
twice.
yes, I put it twice.
And then what did you just put in?
Uh, well, let me re-put it in because for some reason it's putting purpose as if it is a website. I don't know why it keeps doing. It keeps putting. I don't know if you'll be able to change it on that end, but for some reason, every time I try to put it in the comments, it's just not letting me put it in.
Okay. Well, we got your LinkedIn and your Facebook.
Okay, and then I put like a little. If you see in the private chat, I put kind of a little bit about me.
Okay. I see now.
Hmm.
Well, thank you so much. And um, let me see if I can put this where people can see it. Let me put it in. I don't know, Dr. Roz. I pasted it in comments, but I don't know how to make it show.
Well, it's probably in comments, but it might not be in. Well, anyway, I did tell them. I said you can find me on Facebook um, under Rosalind So Thirsty for the King, and you can also find me under LinkedIn as Dr. Rosalind Smith, and I'm the breast cancer victory coach.
Okay. And
Okay.
my call to action to everybody was to talk to somebody that they know that has cancer, any type of
Yes.
cancer, and ask them what's their story. I remember for me, after treatment, everybody assumed you're good and nobody asks you anymore how you're doing. So go out,
Right.
ask your friends, give them that support. Everybody wants somebody to show that they care.
Exactly.
All right, Doc Ross, thank you
Oh,
so much.
full
My
of
baby.
joy. Yes, full of joy.
All right, everybody. We see you next episode.
Bye, everyone.